It's one thing to come up with that perfect drum part, you know, the one that fits the song to a T and supports it musically in all the right ways. But it's another thing entirely to come up with a drum intro that is worthy enough to be placed out in front of the song without any other instruments. Out in the wind, you might say. But when you create one of those iconic drum intros, you're almost guaranteed that you've got yourself a hit song. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to share with you 10 of my favorite drum intros, in no particular order, spanning all genres of music. Are you ready? Let's do it. Welcome in, ladies and gents, to a very special episode of My Favorite Drum Parts. We're not going to call this episode 26 because this is kind of breaking from our standard format of My Favorite Drum Parts, but as we are 25 episodes deep, I thought it'd be fun to shake things up a little bit and do something a little different. So I'm sharing with you, once again, 10 of my favorite drum intros spanning all genres of music. And again, these are not in any particular order of ranking. They're just 10 that came to mind that I really love, that I think do an excellent job of setting the tone of the song that they're introducing. Without further ado, let's kick it off with number 1 on my list. Again, not a ranking, just happens to be a list of 10 intros. Are you ready? Number 1. By the way, some of these you may have heard on a previous episode of My Favorite Drum Parts. Some we haven't featured yet, but you can probably bet will be coming in the future. Regardless, did I say number 1? I know I did. Like 3 times. Well, here's the 4th time. Number 1, let's kick it. Yes, indeed. Two Princes by the Spin Doctors. It's amazing what you can do with a little double stroke roll, a little accent, and, working the toms, working the kick drum there, the bass drum. Big shout out to the great drummer Aaron Comas with the Spin Doctors. This is, again, coming from their album Pocket Full of Kryptonite, which came out back in 1991. Let's listen to this intro one more time, because it is truly timeless. I love that drum intro, and whenever I hear that, I know the next 4 minutes are going to be some of the best of my life, because Two Princes is an awesome song. Also, if Brady Drums ever needs a jingle for selling snare drums, they should just play that drum intro, because that's a Brady snare drum that Aaron Comas is playing there. It's just a little fun fact for you. All right, number 2 on the list. We're going to jump back to 1937 with this one. I know you might be thinking, whoa, Cole. But this might be the OG drum intro. It was the song that quite literally, it gets me choked up just thinking about it. It's the song that quite literally brought the drums to the forefront of the stage and the public eye. And of course, I'm talking of none other than Sing, Sing, Sing by the great Benny Goodman Orchestra, featuring Gene Krupa on drums. Here it is. Yeah, makes me want to grab a box of Chips Ahoy cookies, baby. Only the real ones out there know what I'm talking about. But Sing, Sing, Sing from Benny Goodman, and more importantly from Gene Krupa on the drums. The guy that brought the drum set to the forefront, easy for me to say, of the public eye. And he gave us a lot, guys. He worked with Zildjian to give us the ride cymbal and the hi-hat and lots of modern equipment that we take for granted today. It's all because of Gene. And, you might even say it's all because of that drum intro that he became so famous and that we have all the things that we do today on the drums. One more time. Gotta love that Krupa feel. And you still hear it used all over the place today in big band swing and movie soundtracks, and it's pretty iconic. Number 3. Some of these drum intros are flashy, with lots of chops and technical prowess, and some of them are pretty simple. Maybe just a groove. Maybe just the groove of the song put out in front before the other instruments come in. And this one right here is more of the latter. But every time you hear this intro, again, you're in for a good time. This one, ladies and gents, comes from 1972. A little album called Talking Book by the one and only Stevie Wonder. Yes, indeed. Stevie Wonder. Massive props to Stevie, because all those instruments you heard there at the beginning of that song, including the drums, that's Stevie playing them. What a talented guy. Let's listen to it one more time. Yeah, that's one of those grooves that's deceptively difficult to play. If you ever try to play along with that or play your own take on it, Stevie has a singular feel. It's got a real swing and a bounce to it, which is pretty cool. All right, moving along the list to number 4. This one is about as funky as it gets, ladies and gents, and it comes from a little album called Back to Oakland that came out in 1974. Do you know what it is? Oh, yeah. It's Squib Cakes, baby, from Tower Power. Again, my favorite Tower Power album, Back to Oakland, came out in 1974. So many great tracks on that album, but Squib Cakes has, in my humble opinion, probably one of the funkiest drum intros, played by the great Dave Garibaldi. Can we hear it one more time, ladies and gents? Woo! Funky with a capital F, baby. Yeah. All right. What was that? Number 5? Okay. No. I'm sorry. That was number 4. Here's number 5 right here. This is another one that's, again, more of a groove, not so much like some flashy fills or anything like that, but this is a very iconic groove and played by a legendary drummer. We're going to jump ahead a decade to the 1980s with this one, 1982. This is coming from an album. I'm not going to say the name of the album because it might give it away, even though I'm going to reveal it in about 3 seconds. Here you go. Number 5 on my list. Yes, indeed. It's Rosanna, baby, from Toto. From Toto. With the great session drummer Jeff Porcaro on drums. And that's his signature take on the beautiful halftime shuffle that was pioneered by Bernard Purdie with Steely Dan, and then played again in a whole different way by John Bonham with Led Zeppelin. And here's Jeff Porcaro's take on it. A little bit faster tempo than played by the previous two guys that played the halftime shuffle. But nonetheless, beautifully played. And again, it's one of those intros. You hear it and you're just like, oh, this is going to be good. Let's hear it one more time. Jeff Porcaro playing Rosanna with Toto. All right, I know I'm supposed to be doing the drum intros. I'm letting the song kind of play there, but it's these are great songs. Usually these songs that have the big iconic drum intros, they went on to be huge songs, right? Okay. The next on my list, number 6. We're going to go back to 1959 with this one. And we're going to hop back into the world of jazz here. And this is a very unique drum intro in the fact that it's the only one on my list that happens to be in an odd meter. I bet some of you might know what it is already. But just in case you don't, here it is from 1959. Yeah. Take 5, baby. Take 5, the song that made 5/4 time feel good and famous to the public ear and eye, I guess, right? Joe Morello on drums. Joe Morello is a fantastic drummer, such a great technical command of the instrument and very musical as well. And again, playing some swinging 5/4 time right there. Very tough to play if you have never tried it before. Let's listen to it one more time. Take 5 from the Dave Brubeck Quartet's album Time Out that came out in 1959. Here you go. Listen to Joe swing in that 5/4 time. Listen to that snare comping. Woo-hoo. Tasty, tasty stuff right there, ladies and gents. All right, what do we have? Number 6. Wait a sec. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Number 7. Number 7. We're gonna jump back to 1984. Like I said, we're all over the place with this list. And we're going to go back to take a pretty stark turn from jazz to some harder edged rock with this one. See if you know this one. Got my Harley revved up. Yes, indeed. That's Alex Van Halen on Hot for Teacher. From the band, of course, Van Halen. Pretty amazing drum intro there with some incredible double bass action. And that one always blew my mind as a young boy because I thought it was a motorcycle the first time I heard it. I really did. I'm sure I'm not the only one. Let's hear it one more time. Let's hear it one more time with the with the volume up. How about that? Whew! Rockin', baby. Rockin'. Gotta love it. All right. Moving on to number 8. We're going to stay in the 80s with this one. And here's one that's, this drum intro is basically a drum fill, right? But it's a drum fill that as soon as you hear it, for most people, it's like, I know what this is going to be leading into. And massive props to the guy that played drums on this, because he's from my home state of Iowa, which I still live in. Maybe you know where I'm going, what I'm getting at. What am I saying? Anyway, here's number 8. That's right. Rock With You. From Michael Jackson and his this is 1979. I was off by a year. 1979 album, Off the Wall. Of course, that's the great John J.R. Robinson on drums, one of the most recorded drummers in the history of the instrument. And he's from Creston, Iowa, which is where my dad was not born, but where he grew up for the first few years of his life. They might have been neighbors for all I know. So that's pretty cool, because they are the same age. Once again, Rock With You. Let's listen to this intro fill. What an iconic fill, and what an iconic way to start that song. Huge shout out to John J.R. Robinson for that one. We've got 2 left, ladies and gents. And number 9, you've heard it before here on this channel. I featured it on a previous episode of My Favorite Drum Parts. This is a great one. And it might be, well, it not might be. This is by far the most fireworks showy drum intro that you're going to hear on this list. So it's coming from none other than the man, the myth, the legend, the GOAT, Mr. Buddy Rich. Here we go. That is an intense 33 seconds, ladies and gents, and I remember I talked about this on My Favorite Drum Parts episode, whatever, last year when I featured this song. For the first time I heard that was the first time I ever heard Buddy Rich play. My head exploded. I didn't know you could do that on the instrument. So thank you to Buddy for showing us what's possible, but in most cases, very difficult to achieve on the drums. Let's hear it one more time, just because it's a spectacular drum intro. By the way, this comes from the 1967 album Big Swing Face, one of my favorite big band albums of all time, and probably my favorite big band album from Buddy Rich. Here it is, Apples intro. absolute mastery that Buddy had over the instrument is just staggering. And that's one of the best showcases of it right there. Ladies and gents, we've reached the end of my list, number 10. And if you look up, the best drum intros of all time, odds are you're going to hear this final song on my list on those other lists, because it is truly, I'm trying to think of the best word to describe this, it is truly defining or reshaping what was thought of being a drum sound for music in general, but especially for rock music. Pretty incredible. One of the greatest drum sounds ever captured on tape, in my humble opinion. Especially for rock. If we're talking about rock, this is, I think, the benchmark right here. And not busy, not flashy fills, but like the most powerful groove you've ever heard in your life. Like if Godzilla played drums, right? This comes from the 1971 album Led Zeppelin, number 4. Y'all know what this is. Isn't that incredible? Good old John Bonham. And if memory serves, that was recorded in like this big stone castle that had tons of reverb, and the drum sound was very much captured with like distant room mics, which made it sound just massive. And of course, to begin with, John's drum set was massive. He had the 26-inch bass drum, the 14-inch rack tom, the 16-inch floor tom, the 6.5-inch deep Ludwig Superphonic snare drum, and he played with such power. All those things just came together to create this iconic rock drum sound. One more time, When the Levee Breaks is the song. Can't remember if I said that or not, but here it is. When the Levee Breaks, John Bonham, Led Zeppelin, number 4. That intro has so much power and so much swagger and lots of reverb and just, again, an incredible drum sound. I love it. Ladies and gents, that's my list. What do you think? Which ones did I leave out? What are some of your favorite drum intros? Comment below. Let me know. Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear some of your favorites and just get a conversation going. Also, if you'd like to support the channel and the work that I'm doing as an educator and content creator, there's information in the description of this video where, should you feel so inclined, you can leave a tip to the ColeOnDrums Venmo. I thank you in advance if you choose to do that. Your generosity is so greatly appreciated. Also, if you liked the things that you saw or heard here today, please hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Those two things don't take but a second, and they don't cost you a cent, and they help YouTube push my content out to those other like-minded people that might get something out of these videos. Guys, gals, thanks so much for tuning in here on ColeOnDrums. I have some more fun, fresh content coming to you next week, but for now, I'm going to sign off. Go listen to some music. Go play some drums. Be kind to one another. And good. Bye. There we go. Let's see. Yeah. It's one thing to come up with that perfect drum part. it's one thing to come up with